Today I'm going to show you how to print and create one of the A7 Savings Challenge envelopes that I have available on my Etsy shop. First thing you're going to do once you purchase and download the file is go and print it. I highly suggest printing on a cardstock, but in this specific tutorial I'm going to show you how to create the envelope using regular printer paper. Okay, now that I have that printed up, I am actually going to take it and I'm going to be putting it inside of a 3mm laminating sheet before I cut it, just because normally I would want to cut or print this on cardstock, but I'm all out. So we're just going to put it in this and run it through my laminator, which apparently is not turned on. Just get this ready. Actually, first, just so I can save on my laminating sheets, I'm going to give it a quick trim down. Keep those instructions. Okay, line it up right here and actually trim down my laminating sheet as well. Get my laminator turned on and then I will be right back. Okay, so now that that is all turned on and it's just about ready enough, I'm gonna just run this through once quickly just to get a quick little seal. And then while that is going, I am gonna do the same thing that I did with this one, and I'm just gonna trim down. This is my 5mm. You don't need to have both types. I just find it's a lot easier for me because I try to make a lot of my own envelopes, and then my kids like to do a lot of like laminating projects, so we make like little bookmarks and stuff with them, especially my daughter. So just wait for this to get going. Yeah, so that is ready enough. I'm actually going to switch this over to 5mm. Eventually I'm going to get a better laminator. This thing is probably 10 plus years old, so it's been through a few kids and a lot of projects. All right, I'm just going to get this trimmed up. Normally I would use my paper cutter, but I don't have a blade for it right now. I have it on order. But I did not realize till I started doing all this that I must have lost it, or it might have gotten dull and I threw it out. So I'm just gonna have to get a replacement for that, which should come later this week. Thankfully Amazon does sell replacement packs of the blades for the paper cutter that I use, so it would be a lot faster. But yet again, you don't need to have all of the fancy equipment and most expensive materials to make these. So we're just doing this very basic, but I'm going to speed this up just so that way you're not sitting here. So we're just cutting it right on that line that I have printed up. And now is when we take them. We're going to take the two sides, place them right next to each other, and then run it through this paper, which is, or this laminating pouch, which is the 5mm. So it's a lot thicker and it's going to last a lot longer. So I'm just going to line this up away from the edge a decent bit. Actually, I'm gonna grab my paper cutter just so I can show you kind of the measurements that I work with when I'm doing this. So I'm just gonna line up the edge here on the 1 inch, just so it's a little bit easier. Maybe you can see that a little bit better. I don't know if you can see the 1 inch there. Oh, hold on, let me scoop this up. So I have the 1 inch there. So I am actually gonna line this up where we have a 1/2 inch clearance. So, do 1/2 inch. Now I'm gonna do 3/4 of an inch just to give a little more space. Oh my gosh, this is driving me nuts right now. All right, a little more space, so. Right here. So 3/4 inch is gonna be right in this spot right there. Get it all lined up, and you know what? We're gonna save some more. Fold this over. Oh, no, we're not, because it's going to shift. Right. Well, I guess I'm just going to be wasting extra that I didn't want to. It's okay. Get it all lined up. Try to not shift. All right. There we go. So, try to get that all there. All right. I'm actually going to turn this around just so I can get this part in here faster, and that way it's not all messed up. Let's slide it on in. Grab that out for now. So I'm gonna run this through twice actually, because it still has some gaps here. And part of that is because the fact that I used the laminator before, or used it with laminated sheets. So it's kind of just, it's gonna take a little extra love to get it perfect here. It's not even gonna be perfect, honestly. I didn't do this as well as I should have, but it's just for me, so it's fine. I'm gonna run it through one more time, and then once I'm done with that, I'm actually gonna just pop it underneath a stack of paper to make sure that it presses or stays flat as much as possible. So I'm not too worried about this little bit of a margin there. We're just gonna press this flat quickly. Just pop it on there and wait a second. So now that is all done. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna try to trim off the sides as close as I can, but I don't want to get in here where, I mean, I have it bubbled up, so I don't want to get in there all the way. So I'm going to do it as close as I can and leave just a slight edge, and then we're just going to cut straight down here. So all right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna run it through the laminator one more time now that it's a little bit tighter, just to make sure that it's as pressed and ready as it can be. So we're just gonna pop it through here. All right, that's a lot better. We're gonna just flatten that out. But all right, now it's a little warm, but we're gonna wait in just a second. Now's where I'm gonna just trim off this top here to open it up into an envelope. So we're just gonna kind of cut right at the edge of where the paper is, the design. You don't want a whole lot. It'd be a lot easier if I had my paper cutter, but there we go. And then you just kind of gently open it up. Still has the April showers bring me flowers, and now it's a little bit, it's nice and, you know, nice and sealed on the inside. So I'm just gonna round off the edges here. Doesn't like to work if I have it up in the air. Doesn't work at all. Cool, that's great. There we go. All right. that side. I'm just gonna trim this up a little bit with my scissors here. Okay, and now the final little bit is to pull out my hole punch, line it up centered, and there we go. Now I have my little A7, little 3-ring savings challenge envelope. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for coming along with me on this little video, this little tutorial and how-to. I'll probably end up filming another one later on once I actually have all of my nicer equipment, make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, just, this is a way to show you can still make these things at home. They're nice and easy, and you don't need to have all this like expensive equipment. This was probably like 20 bucks, and as I said, it's like 10 years old. It works. It's not as good as some of the newer stuff, but it is what it is. I think all of the stuff that I have here probably cost me less than 30 bucks, $40. So yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna start using this and save up 50 bucks. Thanks, have a good day. You can check out this product and others that I've created on my Etsy shop, FrugalMeFancy Budgets. Thank you so much for coming along in this video, and please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps a lot. Have a great one. Bye.